Hi, my name's Sue. Welcome to my channel. If you haven't visited my channel before, I live on a narrowboat, Survivor, along with my husband Tony and our 3 dogs and 3 cats. Now today I thought I would talk about, because quite often people say, well, is it expensive to live on a narrowboat? Is it, what are the costs of living on a narrowboat? So for those who don't know, there will be, the costs differ depending on the size of your boat, whether it's a traditional narrowboat, whether it's a wide beam, a Dutch barge. The license fees, are different. Our boat is a 60 foot, she's 60 foot, and we pay, we have to have the boat license, and because we've got permanent moorings which don't belong to the Canal and River Trust, we have to pay a mooring fee. Or sometimes they're called waterside mooring fee, sometimes they're called mud moorings, and it's very controversial because a lot of people don't like or don't agree with this payment. We don't really know what we're paying for, to be honest, because we pay the farmer rent a year to use his facilities, and so, it is very controversial. So combining the license and the waterside or moorings, we pay £215.55 a month. So that's reasonable, and like I said, that's because she's a 60 foot, and we and also because we are permanently moored here, even though we do travel sometimes. Now if you are interested in electric boats, you do get 25% reduction discount if you buy an electric boat, but ours is diesel, ours is traditional diesel. So that's that. I'll just have a sip. I've just made myself a lovely hot chocolate, so if you fancy, if you want to pause and make yourself a nice cuppa, have a cuppa with me, that'd be great. Excuse this, it's wash day and I can't peg it out. Haven't got a tumble dryer, so it's like a Chinese laundry in here. So yeah, it's oh, that was lovely. So so these licenses, I suppose, it's like paying the council tax, I suppose, because the license for the boat, you can use the facilities when you do cruise. You can use all their facilities. They do offer, in a lot of places, they offer showers. They obviously water. You can have as much water as you want, and they all they have things for you to empty your cassettes, and you can moor up practically anywhere on the 2,000-mile canal system. There are places that obviously you're not allowed to, but they're few and far between. You can moor up for 48 hours, some are 14 days, some 7 days, depending on where you are. So that's the license. And like I say, the waterside, what we pay, because we're not constant cruisers, we don't really know what that's for, because so and apparently it's going up, or it's gone up this year 4%. So it'll be 4% because the Canal and River Trust, they have a black hole. They've got so much to do, and they need the money to obviously do it. There's a big breach at Whitchurch, which obviously they need to get onto that. The other thing is obviously insurance. We pay £18.82 a month for the insurance, and that covers the boat and the contents. So that's that. Now, gas. We tend to use more gas. Well, actually, I don't really know. I think we don't, because I cook on the fire as much as I can. So we've got 13 kg bottles. We've got 2 in the front, and they're £45.50. And it usually lasts about 12-14 weeks. So depending on obviously how often we use it. Like I say, I do try as much as I can to cook on the fire to save the gas. But we usually have a delivery from the coal boat. I would say 4 times a year. So we probably we use about 5 bottles a year. So that's I don't think it's as expensive as a house, if you pay gas in your house, but don't know, haven't lived in a house for ages. Our coal, our fire, we have coal and logs, so that's another expense. And coal, average £400 a year, and logs average £300 a year. And of course there's the maintenance of the boat then that you have to consider. So we had our boat blackened. The bottom needs blackening every 3 to 4 years. We had ours done not last year, the previous year. So we've got another two years to go. We had it 2-packed. I don't really know the ins and outs of it. That's, again, Tony would know that, but he's camera shy, so he lets me do all the talking, as usual. And that costs, I think it was getting on for £1,000, because it wasn't only the blacking, we also needed anodes. We had anodes, but because we're moored up a lot of the time, if there's any metal, if the boat touches it, it can rot the metal. So you're advised to have anodes to, I suppose, neutralise it, also, so it doesn't rust or damage the metal. I think that's why we had them. So we had extra ones put on because we got quite a long mooring, and so that was that. Roy, our landlord, obviously we pay him, and that's around 1,500 a year, because we have got quite a lot of big moorings. But again, it provides the water, the skip for the rubbish, and the emptying of your cassette facility. There are washing machines, if you want to use them, which in fact I did today. I did use and yeah, and we've got gardens, and the reason, this is why we picked this, we were so glad, because Survivor, we bought her from here, and Tony went and asked the landlord if we could take over the moorings as well. And luckily he said yes, because we wanted somewhere with a base. At the time we had 4 staffies, so we needed somewhere that they could go out and, you know, have a good run round, nice walks, and that has worked out for us. So we were very lucky. You know, a lot of people haven't got this, but we've got a beautiful garden in the summer. So we spend a lot of time outside in the summer. Very rare we're in. So that's the rent on the land that we live on. We do have internet. A lot of people are quite surprised. People that don't know, you know, oh, you've got internet. I have we have 3 like mini router. So I have that. That is £19.50 a month. I've got to actually see if I can get, because if you it's rolling over now, so I think I could get a better deal, so I'm going to look into that. Yeah, so we watch. Tony and I've got our own tablets, and he watches what he wants to, and I watch what you know, it works out quite well actually. And then you have your boat safety certificate, and that is done every 4 years. And that is around £150 to £200. And what they do is they go around the boat and check to make sure you've got enough ventilation, that access to the gas valve. They go through it really, you know, and they'll pass, you know, and if it's okay to pass, they will. So that's another cost that, you know, if you do consider buying a narrowboat, you know, that is another thing to think about. And obviously service, we usually have her service once a year. Luckily we've got a man that lives just up the way, and he does all that. He works for a marina, so him and his mate, you know, they do that for us, and that's around £150 a year, depending again if you need, you know. But the other thing, we are part of the River Canal Rescue, the RCR, which is equivalent to the AA or the RAC, and in fact we have used them a couple of times. We broke down, we were on our way to, I think it was when we did the 4 counties, and we broke down, called them, and they got us going. And yeah, oh, and the other time was our propeller snapped. We were on the Bridgewater Canal, that snapped, so we were there. They came out and said, oh, sorry, your propeller's snapped, and, you know, well, that's what they thought. That's right, that's what they thought. But luckily, when they actually got in to look, a piece of wood had got stuck inside, so it wasn't as bad as we thought it was, but we had to wait a couple of days there. So, but they will bring you supplies. There's different bands. You've got the bronze, silver and gold, so, and that depends on the price, you know, the prices. We've got the bronze because that was what we were advised, and we can have, I think it's 3 call outs a year. I'm not quite sure, this is off the top of my head, and if you break down and you're really isolated, you're in an, you know, which you can be, they will supply you with, they will bring you supplies. basically, which is, you know, very handy. So yeah, so we were in that as well, which, I mean, we didn't go anywhere last year, but Tony still keeps it up, you know, just in case. So that's, you know, that's basically it. Our electric, we do buy petrol for that. So I would, being we only use the generators in the winter, so I would think that would be about £75 a year, because we only have it on once a day, just to top the batteries up, really. When the batteries go on to float, we switch it off, because obviously the generator's not doing it any good, like. So that's that. So, you know, it's it's lovely, but there are, you know, you've got your expenses, but I don't think they would work out as expensive as living in a house now. I mean, I wouldn't want to live in a house anyway, again. So yeah, so I just thought I'd go through that and explain what the expense is. So I hope you like this video. If you could subscribe, like, share, you know, that would be brilliant. And I will see you on the next video. I'm going to finish my hot chocolate off now. So bye till the next time, and stay well and stay happy. Bye.